What's up? Welcome to Test Prints. I'm Forrest Eggleston.
And I'm Chris Powers. Like to give a shout out, a thank you to our sponsors who actually helped us build out this room, Wados Tacos, LLC. And tonight we'll be having a special guest, Mr. Cooperman himself. Can you please come on in?
Get this thing dialed in. What's up, guys? Mr. Cooperman here.
So,
Settled in.
just to kick things off, we kind of wanted to ask you, a little bit about yourself. If you could just tell us, where you're from, just little general information, then we'll get into the deeper things like why a Cooperman's Delight is your delight.
Yeah, I'm from Carmel. Been repping Bageltown my whole life. It's the spot. Cooperman's is the lick right there, so... Yeah, it's been pretty solid. Everyone's about it, too, like, especially the homies. They're always into the Cooperman's, and, I don't know, it comes to preference when it comes to, like, bagel flavor that you want to add up into it, and, I always go for super seed, test it around, mess around a little bit with salt, and, all just chronic.
Is it toasted
choices.
or not?
Oh, toasted for sure.
Do you add avocado ever, and why is the avocado not naturally part of the delight?
Okay. Oh, it's a little smushy, and it comes out in the first bite. It'll come out the backside. So, yeah.
That was my feelings on it. Today,
So you
I
guys
got
just
one with
You
avocado.
get smashed, but
You guys aren't like real strategic bagel eaters then. I mean, I didn't feel like I had avocado all over my lap
maybe
today.
if you keep the wrap, keeping it in.
Yeah.
keep it under wraps. Yeah, then you can catch a little bit of paper sometimes.
Yeah, that's a danger. That's a risk I'm willing to take.
Yeah, but if you're ever around a Bageltown, just tell them I sent you, Mr. Cooperman himself, and they'll give you 0% off.
Decent.
Yeah.
That's a deal. I think that's our family deal too.
Hard to come by. Yeah, hard to come by.
It came to mind, like, within the last few years, I started wondering, like, who... Actually, before I started wondering who actually Cooperman himself is,
Sitting right here.
yeah.
Just kidding, I'm Jack.
I started thinking of a T-shirt idea, like Cooperman chilling in like a lounge chair, sitting with his newspaper, maybe a pipe, like kind of pretty distinguished. You're actually a lot younger than I was picturing.
Yeah, me too.
But maybe you're a time traveler or
timeless.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
I was
what happens when
thinking
you eat the Coopermans.
He might be an heir to
Yeah.
Cooperman's estate.
could
I'd
be
say so.
could be a
Could be.
descendant.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, so I was thinking of a good T-shirt idea for Bageltown, and like capturing Cooperman in his prime, like setting, just totally delightful.
All the delights laid out.
And then come up with a good graphic and pitch it to them. And be like, yo, you need this. And so maybe that's why I was mentioning to you, just some of that idea, and then talking about Cooperman's Delight as we know it.
Yeah.
And then the question came, like, who is Cooperman? And so we started trying to do a little research today. We went into the Alvarado location, and there was 2 employees, and they kind of
one of them was old.
We had to
real old.
We had to repeat ourselves a couple times, and once they got the drift of what we're asking for, the dude said that that it basically maybe like skipped some generations of it, like those lost information. Yeah. And then the older lady who was working there said she described Cooperman's, and she did it by, she said something like sprouts, tomatoes,
sprouts and tomatoes.
Yeah. That's what we got.
Yeah, she like knew what the Coopermans meant to her, but it has to really root from a person, I would assume.
Another distinction in Coopermans that I've had is when they layer the cheese, tomato, rather than combining it all into like separate stacks.
Yeah.
But when they layer
they take
it up,
the time.
it,
when really they double stack the cheese,
could get a little
different locations will give you different.
Yeah,
and then also
that was a good one today, though.
Yeah. Today was good.
I enjoyed it today, definitely.
the hard tomato.
That the hard
Was-
tomato request from the Karen behind us kind of like helped boost it into.
She wanted the.
She didn't want the mushy tomato, and I can
Ah.
respect that. Like, I mean, a mushy tomato is basically just cold ketchup, and a ketchup on a Cooperman's is not delightful.
What about mustard and mayo?
That's a
Of
big
course.
question.
That's a big
That's
question.
a big preference.
I've messed
actually.
around with just mustard before because like got freaked out on mayo weirdness, but then I was like, I'm kind of lacking a lot of like flavor that I've used to have with the mustard mayo
Yeah.
combo.
Yeah.
So reverted back to the original menu.
Standard
the way
options,
standard,
yeah.
standard maneuvers, and
The way that your
Yeah.
ancestors like had originally designed
Yeah,
things
exactly.
to be.
Yeah.
So reverted back to original game plan and stuck with it since. So
Yeah. That's really all we can ask for is to at least have the original
Yeah.
on the menu.
yeah,
You know?
for sure. And like tweaking it in some ways, like maybe adding avocado could spice up your day
Yeah,
a bit. Like,
you know?
need a little like fatty.
Have you done a
protein.
Cooperman's on a
fatty
jalapeno
stuff.
cheddar bagel?
Jalapeno cheddar bagel
No,
is not even really.
I don't
like
even
a
know if
normal
I've gotten
bagel.
a jalapeno.
I mean,
cheddar
it's there. I've
bagel
seen it.
before.
Yeah, but
I've
the
seen
shape. The shape that it doesn't have the.
Well, you can see
hole.
the
You
square
don't want
of
to punch
cheese
out a
on the top.
jalapeno on accident.
It's just, you can see the square of cheese on the top still. It's like just melted and like turned into plasticky. So I'm not ever like down with the jalapeno cheddar, but like
Just all in all, you're.
Yeah,
Heard
I've
it
never
here.
tried it. I've never tried it.
Cooperman's not even trying that out.
How about
Yeah.
onion? You done the onion bagel?
yeah, I've done onion. My grandpa was really into pumpernickel, so
I was
Yeah.
about to say pumpernickel. I
Yeah.
first got that
That-
from Stewie. Was I was with him and he ordered pumpernickel and he started talking about the merits of pumpernickel, how it's kind of a lost, like it's kind of forgotten by many people. They don't offer like a basket full of pumpernickel. They're not planning to. It's almost like a blueberry or even the
blueberries
fucking-
are pretty on hit. Not
Those
with the
are-
Coopermans. I'm not. You don't really put blueberries or raisins on a Cooperman, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's
that's fair opinion.
yeah. If you're getting a blueberry or a cinnamon raisin bagel, you need to
Trying to
get
hit some of that
toasted
walnut
with honey
honey.
Oh.
and
Honey
cream
butter?
cheese. Honey and cream cheese.
Oh.
That's
Yeah.
really the move.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
good.
It is. I mean, it's
Date
like
walnut. That's
it's
what I was
a little,
taking out with.
little
Oh.
dessert.
They had that there.
Yeah, date walnut.
Yeah, but if you get
just
pumpernickel with date walnut, like, I
I'm pretty
mean,
tunnel vision when I go into Bageltown. It's just straight to the
Cooperman's.
Cooperman's.
Yeah, I know it's hard.
Yeah.
You know,
You know-
actually, it was like 5 years ago or so that I switched from the vegetarian bagel to the Cooperman's.
Transplant.
I didn't really
That's all right.
Yeah. notice it
Hey,
somehow.
at least
like,
you're here now.
yeah.
You're
Well,
part of the Cooper
thought
clan.
my thought on that is like really everyone's got their time of discovery. Whether
Yeah.
it's like 10 years ago or tomorrow, you're
Yeah.
gonna discover the Coopermans, and it might
It's
just be your next
life-changing.
new thing. So
Yeah.
like, give it a shot.
But yeah, I would be curious to know about Cooperman's and where what the true backstory is behind it.
For like a little bit when I was in middle school, my friend Tanner, his last name's Koopmans, and he was claiming the Coopermans as his own.
Faulty.
Yeah. And
I
then
know,
I was
I
like,
know
well,
Tanner
like, what are you
too.
talking about?
Like,
Cooper,
he's definitely not the dude.
So, but I was sitting with that for a little bit, but like, so we'll see.
We're gonna have to talk to him about that.
Yeah,
So-
it is a pretty close comparison. Maybe like how names get changed over generations. Could have like taken out the R and just went with Coopmans.
Yeah.
Coopermans. Yeah. Cooperman.
Interesting.
When we were doing research earlier, we were right there by the Cooper
Cooper
Adobe,
Malera.
Cooper
Yeah.
Malera house in like historic Monterey right there.
Alta, you got on the corner
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Cooper, like on the wall.
with the C.
With the
With the
C,
C,
it's
Yeah. It seems like Cooper with the K, Powers was saying, is maybe like a German type of.
Oh.
that's what I was feeling. Some
Cooperman.
there's no
Yeah,
like
it's a weird-
double dot over it or anything though
Yeah.
that you would kind of want to see.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I was like with Zach Campbell, and we were at the Carmel Rancho Bageltown location.
Is this
Um,
pre your discovery of Cooperman's or
well,
post?
had noticed its existence, but it didn't really catch my eye, possibly due to like my history being vegan, and where actually when I decided to go vegan, it all started at the Carmel Rancho Bageltown location. I cruised down from the Knolls up at this dude Mike Mizrahi's house, and Eric Brown had been teaching me about raw foodism and vegan, and he had the saying, at least vegan, obviously raw foods. And he really got me thinking about just taking the leap into vegan veganism. Yeah. And
Like a Cooperman's hold the cheese kind of a situation?
well, it was more of a leading up to this. Bodie had actually, because I had weird feelings about mayo also, like I just
I
was
understandably
like,
so.
Egginess.
so I was like
Yeah.
ordering bagels, however, but I was like not having the mayo involved. But Bodie so eloquently described the way in which mayo like takes away the dryness of the bagel and just makes it more like
It's true.
like they talk about drinkability with a beer. It's like edibility with
Yeah,
a bagel
fully.
when the mayo's there. And it kind of gets lost in the mix, like whatever weirdness you might have about, unless they hit you deep,
Dude, if
where
you
it's
get
like
the
coming
mega
up through
patch,
the center of the
yeah.
bagel,
Ugh.
and like
The
yeah,
custard splash.
that could ruin it for you, and maybe that had happened, and so I left it out of the equation for a while. But then I heard Bodie explain it, and it made so much sense, and I tried it out, and it's like, okay, now I can do this. So I'd been doing that for a couple years, and definitely with like getting my bagels with cheese and mayo, whatever. But this day, I walked down out of the Knolls. We've been hanging out, like partying up there the night before, and I've been preparing myself to attempt veganism in my life. I knew it was coming, but cheese actually is not the mayo. I wasn't like, because I was saying,
Dude, no one really gives a shit about you being a vegan. That's like
well,
pre-Cooperman's.
it's pre the moment.
Well, it's the unveiling of a Cooperman's delight.
I'm not
for Forrest.
You need to spill the beans right now,
All right,
bro.
so
All right. There you go.
I'm the one talking about veganism and why it even mattered in the first place.
Right, no, I'm stoked on it.
Vegan, because it actually did matter. Like,
Yeah.
in those
I'm not
times.
saying it doesn't, but
No.
you're just trying to open the door for him to talk about being a vegan for the next 20 minutes.
It's interesting.
We only
I mean,
rented out a 45-minute segment for this booth right here, so
Yeah, well, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Get
I
back
know.
on it for us.
I can't rumble on the vegan train just because I like foods that aren't vegan, and I like to eat steak, and I like to get grubbed down, and I don't like to like limit myself sometimes, but I am like conscious of what I'm like eating and like how it's affecting my body. So there's multiple ways to go about it. I'm not capping on people who are vegan at all.
I mean,
No.
Sourcing stuff is nice. Like when I was up there on the farm and like getting the eggs from our hens and the milk from Shoshone.
Yeah.
Like that was pretty local, rootsy, like farm life, and as long as you got all that like coming from, I don't know, I felt like that was the cool way to.
Yeah,
to
feels
eat
better
with.
to eat your pets.
Yeah. All right, so anyway, I roll down the hill, and I just decided, like, I knew I would have a problem with the cheese, but not the mayo. I wasn't worried about that. And I just ordered a bagel. I don't know if I don't think the vegetarian bagel even comes with cheese automatically, but maybe I had been putting that on or whatever, and I just forego the cheese and the mayo, and and I just started munching vegan, like, it took like a couple weeks to get used to not eating cheese, but then I totally forgot about it, and it was like 6 years of like not eating animal products, like unless by mistake. Like I would read the label and even look for like milk powders and all the different stuff. And actually, it was maybe within the week or so before that, I had been drinking with Bodie and Dougal Droff, we called him. He's Doug Benefell from Georgia, and Sam May, Bodie, and we were drinking. How do you say it? Contro?
Cointreau.
Cointreau.
Yeah.
Cointreau.
Yeah, the orange liquor,
Yeah.
and mixing with other stuff the night before, and eating pizza, and I was
Like
super.
what type of other stuff? Like other
like
alcohols?
Other
or-
alcohols, yeah. Maybe even, I don't know, wine, but like,
Ooh.
like something beer probably, and then the
Like in the same
Sure.
cup or
no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
throughout the night. But then we kind of ended the night with that like bottle of that orange liqueur stuff, Cointreau. I should get better at pronouncing it, but it was a terrible hangover the next day, and I wonder where the pizza came from that night. This was a long time ago.
Definitely wasn't the Bagel Bakery.
No, it may have been Pelican.
Respectable.
Yeah.
Also a respectable establishment.
Yeah, actually, that's maybe
There's
it was something else because
There's
it
only
was
a
kind of.
handful that delivered to Carmel. It was a
Well,
delivery.
we
or
were
was it
chilling
Maybe it was
over,
Allegros.
We were at Bodie's old pad, like behind Caro's, over in that neighborhood.
Oh, that's Pelican territory.
Yeah, it's totally Pelican
Yeah.
territory. And I know that we'd been eating pizza that night because the next day I was so hungover, and we cruised into Carmel in Doug's little Jetta, and I'd been wanting to throw up like for a while, but I just couldn't bring myself to, like, I wasn't ready. And right when we pull up to my grandparents on Camino Real, it's like my body knew that I was close to like action facilities and a place to relieve myself.
Salvation.
And I opened the door and ran to the backyard and just explosively was throwing up. And in that like explosive
A pepperoni came
upheaval,
out.
No, freaking cheese lodged into my
Fire.
throat flaps like upwards and lodged and actually stayed there for 3 whole days.
So every
Like,
time you ate a Cooperman in those 3 days without cheese, it was like the cheese was there anyways.
Every time I did anything for those 3 days, it was like if you like swallow a pill and don't wash it down with enough water and it's just there.
Did you try
that
to, like,
feeling? I
get some
tried to
water and
alleviate
stuff?
it and do like different gargles and shuffles and stuff.
You gotta
and it
stand on
stayed,
your
like-
head and hold your breath.
And that was kind of put me over the limit. I'm like, okay, I've been like messing around with the idea of going vegan, and then I just decided to. So
Nice.
So then, like,
6 years.
after-
That's a pretty commitment.
Yeah.
yeah,
non-commitment
it was
to anything.
pretty smooth too.
Yeah.
During that time, we had a family friend came for I don't know how we knew him, but he makes these crackers, crocantini or something. He's an Italian dude, and these hella bomb little crackers like that. He was telling us about the oven that they go through. It was like has a roller with spikes, and it pokes holes in the I guess it's dough
aerator?
or something at that point. Before
The aerator, dough aerator.
yeah, and it lets the cracker form without making hella bubbles.
Yeah. Nice.
And so he came to stay in the upstairs, the blue room, and because he was doing the Tomato Fest, and so he left us with this big bag of crackers, like shards, like broken pieces, and then there was this like
Shards.
yeah,
Damn.
just pieces,
Offcuts
like
and stuff.
yeah, broken left or like for samples.
Test prints.
Totally, and also like this big bowl of like some marinara type sauce with like goat cheese in there,
Ugh.
and I decided just to test it out. And then later that night I was up in Santa Cruz, and whatever we were up to had me laying down on the patio, and I started seeing the vision of like a goat, satanic like goat
goat
skull,
god.
like yeah,
Yeah.
the goat demon was vibing me. I felt wrong about it being in my system.
You got rammed.
Yeah, ramshackle.
Now you're stepping on weird territory. A ram and a goat.
Hey.
It's a little different.
Hey.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to differentiate in your head, you guys being, goat milkers. It'd be a little weird if you were a ram milker.
Yeah.
To me, goat, ram, yeah, one's a little more burly, yak.
Yeah.
Yak.
Youth artist collective.
Used artist collective. All right.
A shout out
Shout
to
out.
Yak. Yeah. Yak's tight.
What's up, Andrew Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
A lot of
Um,
good stuff has been done for the community.
Yeah. Big time.
And the artists in this area. So that's how it all started, or how it all didn't start for Cooperman's on my radar for many years. And this was like probably like 2003 or 2004, that day I came down from the Knolls. And then like 10 or however many years later, 2015, I think, is when we had the studio in the barnyard, the Underground Forest art studio, which Zach Campbell was a partner for a time. And so right in the neighborhood, Carmel Rancho, barnyard, we cruise over and we're ordering bagels together. And he went first and he hollered about the Coopermans. And at this time, like, the prices have ramped up. Like, even since then, in the last 5 years, it's gone. Like, Cooperman's was one of the cheapest bagels on the menu, and that was part of why he was getting after it. But it was also just because he understood the
fully delicious and nutritious and delightful.
And so it was in that time, in
How
that
much
moment.
is it now, like $4.15?
Depends which
Something like
location you go to. City.
I would pay $15 for it.
15 flat. Yeah.
Well, especially if you're up in like Humble or somewhere far away from action.
Yeah, we were dreaming about Cooperman's for a bit. Yeah. All crunchy and crusty. Thinking about just a fresh, wrapped up Cooperman's, just ready to smack on.
You don't even have to milk a goat to get the cheese.
Well, yeah. We tried to make cheese. Where I guess I didn't really try. It just made itself.
Damn.
Like left some
In a jar.
A jar
Did you
around, and it like chunked up and curded up. And
Did you try it?
Cheese.
I know I didn't try it
in
because
the
it
way,
would have been whooped. Like it was just it looked like cheese.
Yeah.
You know, it could have been maybe the first step.
Moldy milk.
First step of cheese. Yeah. But
cottage
it's
cheese.
weird if you leave it around, not refrigerated for a little bit, it'll start to chunk up.
Rough.
Just like how it goes.
Sometimes it's better not to know the origins of or way food is made.
Hot dogs? You're just like accept a hot dog for a hot dog?
I don't even fuck with hot dogs.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell. Like that is the last. If I was gonna eat meat, goes in order of things I wouldn't eat.
You hate a boar
bologna,
sausage?
I mean, if I was grubbing meat at the time, yeah, I'd eat a boar sausage.
You
Why
still
not?
haven't gone.
I mean, a hot dog could get doctored up like pretty well disguised with
there's
like relish and
there's
other
zones,
zones, and
yeah.
stuff, ballpark,
Yeah.
freaking activities. But bologna,
Polish
how are you gonna
dog?
put that? Where's that gonna land? Just between some
Woo.
white bread, like
Maybe get some
like,
plain ass dry Fritos in there or something.
Yeah, bologna's
That's when you really taste the mayonnaise.
bologna sketch. Oscar
Yeah.
Mayer and stuff. I mean,
Hormel.
to each their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hebrew National for the hot dogs if you're going that way.
Kosher?
Kosher.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, the first Bageltown I ever remember was the Crossroads location, and pretty much just the thing I remember the most about it was the door. It was like one of those wooden with the screen door and the spring that kind of it slams shut when you walk through it. And yeah, that was the original location as far as
You're some bold allocations
the
there.
original location that I have in my experience.
Yeah,
I think
and
they might have
maybe it
been-
might have been the first. I don't know. I'm not
I'm
gonna.
not so sure about that. I think they might have been more on this side, Monterey,
Yeah.
PG.
Maybe.
And on the subject, let's just mention what this side is.
Oh, we're in Monterey right now.
Yeah.
10th Street, Monterey, California.
Test prints
Test prints.
in the back of the shop.
Back room print shop.
Slash fluff room.
Used to be a this room. While we're talking about the room that we're actually in right now, this used to be a massage parlor, and this was possibly a finishing room. There's no windows in here. Right behind this nice sound cushioning is a weirdly pink colored wall.
What were the neighbors saying about like some like Disney princesses?
Oh,
like,
I don't know.
characters?
That went to zones I
Some-
wasn't really trying to hear. Like I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely
there was
like,
some weird like decor left over like when they vacated this.
Yeah.
Like what was seen.
Luckily, there was 3 or 4 occupants in between us and hand jobs that kind of separate
Enough
that.
to kind of clear the air.
Yeah.
Clear the wall. Well,
It doesn't
yeah.
smell bad in here. What do you think, Cooperman?
Smells fine to me.
Yeah,
you know? Just whiffing myself over here.
Oh. Yeah.
What's up with that thing? Is that Nile move?
Yeah, the ivy and the chandelier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some custom Nile aesthetics.
Nice.
Um,
Oh, who's this dog?
oh, Miss, what are you doing?
Decided to join us.
Missy's one of the not one of the few dogs, but one of the lucky dogs.
Oh,
That's got to try the Coopermans.
It's got domed.
She doesn't feel it.
What you got to say, Miss? Nada mucho.
Missy is actually she's actually one of the first evolutions of the of land dolphin. If you can see the bump on the back of her head, that's where her dorsal fin used to be.
She's not a beagle and she's not a bagel.
Yeah, but
She's like a lowrider.
she likes eating bagels. She'll munch a Cooperman, sprouts and all. And does not mind, like, if you do some extra mayonnaise and it pokes up through the center hole. That's cool with her.
Sounds a little freaky.
It's
Yeah.
yeah. If you're a dog, you'd be into it.
When I think, Bagel Bakery and beyond, when I think of like local legendary staple type offerings of the peninsula, definitely one that comes to mind is the naan wrap, the naan burrito from India's Clay Oven, India's Gourmet, formerly known as India's Clay Oven.
Yeah.
Definitely first discovered them at the Monterey Farmers Market.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
I remember it was one of my I think probably my fondest memory, and I'm just gonna pre-warn the like possibilities of like embellishments on my memory of this story, but the India's Clay Oven is primarily owned and operated by Indian people, and I mean not like very westernized Indian people, like very cultural Indian people, and they took a liking to Forrest, a super pale white redheaded guy, and he was working in their flagship restaurant location at the end of Alvarado, and he'd invited me to come enjoy the Indian buffet one day, and I show up and like I'm like I said, this might be a little bit extra, but like
We'll catch the elevator up.
I feel like he had like his beard, instead of it being a nice gray or a black beard, it was a red beard, but I want to say he was in like a white robe and had a very like welcome to my house kind of feel to the restaurant. Like he was fully acclimated to the style. It was pretty legit.
But you did get a bit of a glance, almost maybe you could say evil eye from that one like lady, or both of us did. Like she knew that like I remember like she kind of put up with me in ways, like, and she had love for me, but it was like a bit of both, all of it, like. And she knew I had the pass to invite my homies in to enjoy buffet, but it wasn't like a super warm welcome type thing. It was almost like a past the threshold of like, like
once you're getting the free buffet, you're also like in enough to be beyond the threshold of the custom, like customer is always right parts of things. Like you more so enter the realm of like maybe like how the bad end of being a busboy or something, like what are you eating that shit for, Yeah, now that you're mentioning, I definitely remember that. But
all I know about that spot is the chicken tiki masala wrap. Used to live in Monterey and go like every Tuesday.
Oh, we have lines just.
Yeah, smack like two of those and just be like absolutely gorged. All right, crawling under the table moves.
Yeah, I was giving samples to folks in the Bay Area farmers markets, and it was cool because our booth was so popular, didn't really have to, like, the line kind of was advertisement in itself. Mm-hmm. But then actually that was an original like experience of appreciating their food, like cruising the farmers market and hitting samples, and like the almond people like with all they had these shakers out. Like, man, I wish I could shout out their almond name, whoever that farm
Just hit
was.
up the farmers
But they
market
had,
on
like,
Tuesday
these-
and they'll be there.
Maybe they're still doing that.
Yeah, they're still like shaking almonds and yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we just like cruise down, and you could like starting at the top, like you just start. One of the first was the almond shakers, and there's like maybe like 8 or 10 different flavors. They had like the kind of like sugary, like orange, like sugar coated ones, and then the more like
Fire.
savory.
Yeah.
And
Bomb.
all the different stuff, but they had it strategic. Like you couldn't just
Wasabi.
like pour it out in your hand. You really had to like shake to get like a proper handful, and that. So I would be like shaking, getting like, and trying to do it on the DL, and before you get like
You know
super long.
those lids just unscrew
Well,
if you're really about the motion.
yeah.
Yeah, farmers market is kind of like Costco for savages.
Yeah,
You know, like
yeah. If you work the circuit, you could by the time you get down to the best, India's clay oven, and then you've got like the torn up like pieces of naan and the different like offerings with spinach, eggplant, the garbanzo, chana masala, I think they call it, the tikka masala, the lamb, whatever that was, and then the eggplant. Yeah, and you could like dip yourself, or like at other times, like it would be like prepared for you, and then,
yeah,
like, and I became at first I was the one frequenting that,
yeah,
and then I ended up being the one that was
hooking it
I was
up.
doing all kinds of stuff. I was driving the truck, unloading, setting up the tent, plugging in the tandoori oven, and
Were you smacking them on the side of the oven?
I tried a little bit, like you put like a sock over your forearm to like, because as you're learning, inevitably you hit the edge and like get burned.
Yeah.
And I tried, but I couldn't really.
What does that do?
It just guards you from like.
No, the
so
smack.
Oh, so you, like the dough comes on this
Oh.
like baking sheet, and it's like a like soft dough, and they like with some flour, like kind of like pizza dough or something, to get it to like spread out a bit, and then they have this like maybe a bunch of towels wrapped with another towel, and so it makes like this kind of like oval disc kind of thing. And once you like slap up the dough, then you slap it onto the towel and kind of stretch it onto there, and so it's like on the towel, and then you reach into the tandoori oven and slap the side. And the guys who are hella pro, like one slap and then maybe like another, like maybe just one or two, like
courtesy tap.
like one part's peeling off the edge, and then just tap that into place, and then they all throughout, like it's a clay oven, tandoori oven, and they'd have them going like at varying stages of baked. Slap it on there, put another, and then with these sticks, like scraper stick and then hook stick, and pull it out, and just constantly making naan.
Nice.
And
That's-
I never got that position live. I just tried a couple times.
You
But,
drop. You're a India's clay oven dropout.
Of the tandoori, I never got on
Just
that.
want beers?
I'm good.
I got shot.
Good. How you
Doing
doing,
great.
Yeah,
What's up,
good.
Wiggins? Weekend.
So I'm Wiggins.
Chris?
Chris, pleasure. I'm just gonna chill here and drink some beers if that's cool.
Perfect.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Run
so
some
those-
test prints.
Those were great times. Being part of the Indies Clay Oven family.
Yeah.
Mr. Singh, Raj, Mr. Raj. I used to cruise
What was
um, from from the kitchen, like down at the Maritime Plaza. Sometimes, like when there's like a big food like festival down there. I think this is when Raj started calling the skateboard my aeroplane, because I would
Whoa.
we would be
Yeah.
down there and we'd run out of propane, and we were down at the Maritime Plaza. And he'd send me back to the kitchen to get some propane, and I would scoot on the dirt board up to the kitchen, grab the propane, and then mob back and be there real quick with it. And Ron's just, oh, your aeroplane! And
Yeah.
and I got props for that. It was
Hell yeah.
appreciated.
Would you just like grip it, or would you try like?
Maybe double, and you know, just propane, like
One on
or
each
sometimes
shoulder.
on the board even,
Yeah.
like because they're pretty heavy, like
Full, yeah,
on the
full.
board, and yeah. That was it came to be known as like one of the tools of the trade. Like when I was on task.
Sick.
Yeah, getting around and he like called it my aeroplane. That was rad.
Hey, get out of here.
Missy, what's up? Whoa.
There was a time when
Maxing
When,
out the freaking volume, man.
Yeah.
they had like International Day up at the DLI, and this is when I had an apartment like you've been to that apartment like up above Alvarado.
I don't know if I came around during
was-
that time.
Maybe. Well, it's like conveniently located between the kitchen and the DLI. And conveniently enough so that I felt like I could swing by my apartment and take a bong rip or two and then go up to DLI like with the minivan.
Of course.
With the trays, like those baking sheets with all the dough on them, like the baking sheet would probably hold like, I don't know, 40 of these dough, like,
Decent.
and all of the, it was like one of those Toyota minivans that has kind of got the weird like bubble shape, and all the like 2 or 3 rack.
Oh, mega.
Might
Mega.
Was that you, Missy? Yeah, the
have
racks,
been me.
the bench seats were taken out. So it was just revealed like a
Cargo
big
space.
flat cargo space. And from the kitchen, I loaded up like however many trays fit. And I even tried to like buckle them in. Like I took the seat belts and like put them around the trays and tried to hook them into the part that the
Yeah.
bench seat clicks into. But not very well. And so I stopped by my house and then I'm cruising back up to DLI. And I'm driving like approaching the tunnel where you would take a left to go up into DLI, and
Yeah, it is.
oh man,
I double checked.
I started like looking back to check on the trays. Like I had a sense that like stuff was sliding loose a little bit, and sure enough, the seatbelt thing came loose, and the trays started sliding. And I'm busy like looking back to see that, and I rear-ended this dude
Oh,
in a
no.
silver Volkswagen Beetle. And right when I crash into him, I had these 2 gallons of mango lassi on the front shotgun seat, and they slammed to the floor and start going glug glug glug, all the mango lassi on the carpet,
No.
and then I look and the dude is like, oh my neck, and
Oh. Did you run?
no, I pulled over. I mean, there was like not really room to run. Like it was a traffic situation, and the cops were there real quick, and somehow like they just interviewed me. Like about I made a mistake. I was checking. They didn't.
We better
place me
get
in-
some fucking free non-wraps for all this fucking talk about the India's clay oven. I'm gonna fucking
Sorry,
hit them
Raj
up.
and
That's a
and family
sponsorship right
for,
there.
for
Yeah, we need
crashing that
some.
minivan.
Yeah,
That was
Total?
lame. No,
he's watching this
more
live
that-
right now.
it was more
He's
that
like, God
like,
damn it, Forrest, that's not the story you told me.
It was just post bong.
You hit bong.
yeah, ouch.
Post bong rib. Yeah.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
legal as it is nowadays, maybe that's
It's
still not
still,
okay. Huh?
yeah, I think it's statute of limitations. So,
True.
like, yeah, bong smoking 10 years ago in a car. Probably you don't do that
I think
anymore,
so.
which
When
is
I
good.
get back up, when I get back up there to the DLI to this International Food Festival thing, and I had to tell them what had happened. The Raj's wife was the most bummed about the mango lassi all over the carpet. Like she was not feeling that one bit. That was
That's a tough cleanup.
yeah, because that
What
stuff's
is that?
sticky. Mango lassi is like a yogurt type drink
Ugh.
with mango and sugar.
It
And
it turns into cheese on carpet if you leave it room temperature. Sweet cheese.
Yeah, curds out.
Yeah. Ugh.
so
I
what
was just thinking about something a minute ago. I remember something from when we were younger in Carmel, when around the time when I first met you. You were always, you had the maneuver for like the affordable bohemian cruising of Carmel, like on a kind of different style, and I think that can like, I mean, we've all had to like cruise on different budgets and deals and maneuvers, and I think they're like touching on some of the, we've touched on some of the finer points of Monterey, starting with the Coopermans and kind of going to Lassie Town, but I think some of the, maybe some of the freebies or bargain stuff should get a little shout out tonight on the podcast. Just the free showers, the free places to eat, the best spot you can crash if you're stranded on the street in Monterey or Carmel. And I think that you should really maybe kick it off with some of those things.
Well, one that comes to mind was the free place to stay, and this isn't like a recurring thing, but it worked out for me this night. Was like I was partying like down Alvarado, like doing the circuit, maybe Chibos, and with some older heads. And we ended up
you're at Chibos.
Yeah, we ended up back at this dude's house, and he had like 3 names, like Spencer Earl Watts or something. It was not that, but he was a musician, and he was pretty stylish dude. And he had an apartment up above Wolf's Camera or Green's Camera or something, the one like near across from El Estero.
Yeah.
And I ended up over there with this dude Tony. Remember, dude Tony, from the Valley, like. Maybe his kid crashed his skateboard at the skate park. Not really skateboard.
Crashed a skateboard at the skate park.
Crashed something else maybe. Anyway.
Yeah. Tony Gambali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Crashed his car into the pond. Shout out Tony.
Was that the kid's name?
AJ.
Okay.
But
yeah,
it was Tony.
Where's this?
Anthony.
Where's this at?
Ed Harper.
Oh.
Oh shit.
It's at the shop, Ed.
So I was kicking with Tony, and he was my homie. Like we had chilled actually out in Carmel Valley at the Schiffman's, the House of Wow, which is a whole other trip. But so we were tight. Like I felt comfortable with him, and I felt like he was taking me under his wing and bringing me into this mix, and I was totally settled into the after hours action at this apartment. Everything's going smooth.
You're really...
And then all of a sudden, it's like 3 or 4 in the morning, and the dude, the Spencer Earl Watts or whoever the dude is kicking me out. Like he's saying,
that was his real name, huh?
It wasn't. It was like 3 names.
Yeah.
It was like, he's kicking me out, and I kind of had I was a little messed up knee. I wasn't really trying to strike too far all the way back to Carmel. But I got shuffled out the front door. Door's closed. And behind me, and I'm upstairs. And I was like, oh well, fuck this. I climbed over the wall, right onto the roof, and I just lay down there on the roof. But then they shuffled me out of there too. I think he came out 15 minutes later. Go further.
The Earl Watts.
Go further.
Yeah. So
damn, Earl Watts.
Laying it down.
So I'm walking. I walk down, and I'm going that street that kind of parallels up from the car wash. It goes behind everything.
Yeah.
Up towards Jack in the Box. And along the way, I look over at this hotel, and I was just like, I bet there's some
maybe some
laundry
loose
room
blankets or something.
I was picturing a nice warm laundry room with linens and warmth and softness. And so I went in search of that, going through the corridors, and I found myself in the actual hotel in the hallways, and I just reached for a door and open it, and boom, it opens up to a suite, a double rooms, suite with the California King bed, and I just cracked the California King and jumped in and got so cozy, and with such a smile on my face, thinking of this Earl Watts fool, who had just kicked me out, and he thought he was getting the last word, that I was gonna just be
crusty all night,
and crusty and hurting.
How did you wake up?
I woke up to maids making rounds. I could hear them, and I went up and checked through the peephole, and I knew they were coming close on my situation, and so I just pulled my hood up and opened the door and just stormed out of there. Didn't even look. I didn't get heckled. I just made my exit, and so that was pretty triumphant. Return from getting outcasted.
Yeah.
And shuffled off.
Fucking Watts, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
But that was kind of a more
No, that was
and that's
that's kind of come up.
But it wasn't what you're touching on. It's subjective.
I mean,
the connects we've been.
That was nice,
we've been offered,
or even ones that are just open to even the lamest of people.
To be adaptable.
I'm talking like walking down the wharf with a styrofoam cup, mixing all the clam chowders into your own cup size. It's the suicide batch clam chowder.
Never attempted that one.
I mean, yeah, I've done it without the cup, but
I've gone like station to station before.
yeah, but if you had the cup at the end,
And
have
you
the
could
whole
like connect them all, and then you have like a full.
a master
Like, so it
batch.
doesn't like when you hit in a shot after shot. It's kind of like you don't get that full meal
It
sensation.
takes like a
It's kinda
shot's worth of chowder's energy to walk to the next shot station. So like, it's not as
save it up for.
I don't know,
like,
what's your go-to?
I mean,
if
I
you had
was-
to pick one chowder. If you're a chowder
Oh.
hound over there at the wharf, what is it? Grotto.
Grotto's the only one that I even remember the name
Grotto's
of.
the only one that I'd be down with. There's
I mean-
maybe Fish Hopper, but it's all owned by the same guys, so it's like similar chowders. I'm not too much of a chowder hound. I'll get down every once in a while.
I
but,
mean,
like,
if you're walking around in the middle of a cold night,
yeah,
you're
that's the
looking
move,
for that
sure.
freebie, like,
Oh, it's
Yeah.
nice when they like serve it up like that.
yeah, I'm not plotting on my next chowder trip though either. It's not
Yeah.
it's definitely not the thing, but I mean, and that's like even touching back to like, mission around Costco, and getting your
Yeah.
samples on, or getting a little thing of rice from Tommy's Walk, and
Yeah,
and then
that
cruising
was
over to
solid.
Nielsen's for like a 39-cent mini avocado, and like mixing those, and all of a sudden you got like
soy sauce packets.
a meal for $1, and like those are the things I'm really like was like I don't know, growing up thinking about Carmel and just like maneuvering in Carmel as like a very high expense thing, but we at times could like have a day where we would drink, smoke cigarettes, and eat, maybe even smoke a little bud or something, be under a 20 spot on the day,
on the collective,
and be
even.
fully like
like 20 spot for all of us.
that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
yeah, like, and be fully sufficed by the experience,
Yeah, it's like mix it up with a little bit of like the homies hookup, like the homies at the register kind of connect, or the homies the
if it's
proprietor of like
Yeah.
Tommy himself at Tommy's Walk to like float
Yeah.
you some rice and some
or
more,
even
like,
just like the place where the deal is so fresh that everybody's the homie.
yeah.
It's like it happens like that too, where you can just get the bread roll there and it's 75 cents. It just is what it is.
Ilford Isle was kind of on hit with the bread
Yeah.
action.
Or
Like,
what is that little place across the street from Ron's Liquors right there? Like up the little two-stair. There's like a little
Paulina's?
maybe,
Or,
yeah. I
like,
remember
was what it
getting
used to
some
be called
some
back in
cheap
the day,
rolls in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt. What about you, Jack? Where's the hookup spots for you, or is it just Cooperman's all day?
Yeah, I mean, I stay pretty dead set with the Cooperman.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I don't know. I mean, couldn't tell you a
You
specific.
don't want to give up the game, is what you're saying.
A little bit of that.
How about a free shower on the Monterey Peninsula? If you were in a jam and you needed a shower,
Hit the ocean. Or like,
that's
I don't know.
I mean,
just get a splash. And
yeah,
get
that's
your hair wet.
that's
slick back.
that's
and you're cruising.
recreational though. Like you're really trying to clean up for a job interview.
For a job interview.
Dang.
Hit up a homie. See if they're like down to sprack a little shower on me. I don't know. Definitely. whatever about that. But, like,
Ain't no homie spracking a shower on me.
yeah, you gotta get all weird about it.
It's bound to happen.
Well, I don't know. Shit.
Oh man.
Well, I
Or
think
like hookup
Powers is the one
spots.
who knows
Hookup
about
spots.
Yeah, I
with,
mean-
like, food.
I'm looking for like NPC on the showers and the
Or that
food.
swooping like locker room showers.
Yeah.
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 It's been
Well,
done.
yeah. Like maybe to clean up after a beach jump.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not talking about the like luxurious
What about
like
freshwater-
beach jump. Yeah, slick
What
back
about
the
a
hair.
freshwater like
Yeah.
little dip up in
Yeah,
like a
there
river.
you go. I think
You know?
I feel more clean out of a river than I do out of the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that at certain times of the
Yeah.
year, you know,
Yeah.
when the river is nice and flowing and
Yeah. Yeah.
There's all
Stagnant river
bacteria.
is no good.
and,
Yeah, if you're dumping in The pond,
Or
Lake
in the
Elistero.
lagoon over there.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Lake
Sketchy.
Elistero, I mean,
Sketchy.
is the natural. If you can survive, it's natural antibodies.
Dude, there used to be this mega like pterodactyl bird that would fly out of the island there next to the skate park. Did you guys ever see this bird?
Free bird sightings on the
No,
peninsula.
it was like a mega bird
Megalodon?
that would just launch out of there every once in a while. It was like way bigger than like a
Blue
a
heron.
heron or anything
Oh,
like
something
that.
bigger.
Maybe it was just like a amped up
A
heron
big
or
daddy
something like
amped up
that.
heron.
Yeah, something to those descriptions. But that thing was pretty legendary and like.
Was there other people at the sightings?
Yeah, they've been seen.
They've
but
been
like-
Sounds
seen.
actually familiar in a sense.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it recently. Maybe it's like moved on islands or something like that. Maybe someone else took over the
Maybe
island.
someone ate it.
Who knows?
Maybe it could be a nugget.
That island is pretty mysterious. Never been there. Rolled
it's-
up near it. I was
It's
like,
it's
Have
spidery.
you been out on
It's
I was hit-
spidery.
I was
Like
hitting a pedal, one of the pedal
Yeah.
boats. What do they call them?
paddle boats?
Paddle boat.
Yeah.
Foot pusher.
I never
And,
even.
I've gotten near it and banked up on the shore and poked around, like just look.
well, there
but,
used to be a tunnel too, like a tree tunnel, where the trees touch the water and they cut it out, so you could ride like half the island wrap tunnel
Wow.
in the paddle boats.
Damn.
Actually, talking about like the connects and the hookups, it's not just foods or
No,
showers.
yeah.
It's like it's all encompassing
It's
to the
fully-
experience of Monterey
Yeah.
and living here. And one of them, I didn't have the direct action at this, but like someone's homie's mom ran the paddle boat rental shop.
Oh, that's the
and,
plug.
Like people were getting free like,
That's the
boats
plug.
to go
Yeah.
mob around on. And
Can
we-
you put your own vessel in the lake, or do they have it paddle boat license?
Yeah,
Like,
that's-
I mean, could we go dip a canoe in there, or kayak, or
Whoa,
a speedboat?
that's an idea. Get that canoe out of storage. Get one
Yeah.
last ride before.
I'm sure. I don't recall like seeing a foreign boat, just kind of on its own there. I've only seen the paddle boats.
Yeah, but I mean, what
But
would
it's
they?
a lake.
A
Yeah,
kayak,
seems
like
El
accessible.
there's
How
no
about
real.
Laguna Grande? Go
Hootie.
mobbing around out there.
Woo! I don't know if like even the like maybe the small drips that would come off the edge of the paddles onto my
grand.
hands, like, or like transporting a boat that's been dipped in that, like, might have to just chalk
It's
the
rough all around
chalk
the
the
edges. Of
chalk
that
the
place.
kayak up to the game.
Yeah.
It's
After
also
that,
like building your bacterial load.
yeah.
so who
I mean,
knows?
I
Who
drink
knows?
a glass of Elistero water weekly.
No, there's a farmer who would drink out of the same trough as his like cows and stuff just to build his stomach muscles and his stomach bacteria up to a level of like handling whatever.
What's that guy doing now?
Probably still living, still drinking
Yeah.
and slurping out of the bucket.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Damn.
pretty interesting concept behind
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
I mean, farm life.
exposing yourself to build up
He's
seems like
pretty,
a lot of stuff we're doing
pretty
with now,
educated
but, like,
farmer, like with the
or just
the
kind of
breakdown.
like
a thirsty
off-
hillbilly.
off the cuff, just going for it, and like
Yeah.
seeing everybody else get sick, and he's like, "Well, I'm fucking chilling over here with my like gut fucking
Yeah.
all pumped up." So, who knows?
Thumper.
Yeah, I've never tried it. I
Yeah.
don't want to try that.
No, it's something you got to be born into, I think.
No, I did over in the goat pen. I looked and was like scoping out, but they would always like shit their little kernels in the bucket,
Yeah.
and because it was like perfect.
They didn't want you
It
drinking
was like
their
perfect
water.
butt height, so the goats would just drop their little kernels up in there.
Damn.
And just like come back.
They didn't even want their
refresh
own
the
water.
water.
after
It's
that.
all full,
Yeah.
and
You
there's
have to,
just
like,
kernels floating. It looks like Cocoa
And their
Puffs or
mineral
something.
and stuff too. And their
Yeah.
food.
Damn.
You
Yeah.
could only put down so much grain for them
Yeah.
at a time because inevitably they're gonna shit in there, and then they wouldn't really want to eat like the grain
Yeah.
after that. So you'd have to like.
Picky little
Yeah,
fellas.
goats
Yeah.
are way cool though, and like I learned one cool fact through the dude Mark Warnke.
Packgoats.com.
Packgoats.com. Shout out. Okay. Mark Warnke was saying that goats are like better at falling than climbing because they know how to like maneuver terrain. But like say they're jumping over a log, they have hooves and they're not gonna have like good traction. It's just all slip. So they know how to fall correctly, and that's what makes them such good like mountaineers or like maneuvering through different environments and over stuff on rocks and shit. and there's like, have you seen like the mountain goats that climb up the dams, and like they're like climbing up a straight fucking vert wall, and they're like catching like small little
they can't
edges.
be slipping in those situations.
No, I mean,
The part of
No,
their
the-
hoof though
they're-
is different because it's like two pieces.
no, but they could
They-
slip and like catch it because they're hella good fucking just at falling and like
And
knowing
ca-
where they're
yeah.
at and like having hella confidence just to go for it. But the reason
They're
why
like, fuck it, we're a goat anyways. If
Yeah.
I die, I die.
no, the reason why they would go for it is because there's like salt deposits up top, and they'd just be like smacking on the nutrients and all like the
They like
salts
the
up
minerals
top.
and
You
stuff.
got
Minerals,
you
yeah.
got a goat for it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I guess so. You can be all wordy with it. Yeah, you gotta go for it. Yeah. Yeah. But no, it's pretty sick. Goats are like rad animals, and Forrest and I were just out in Humboldt living with a pack of, I think we had 6 of them, and training them as pack goats to carry about like 60 to 80 pounds of weight with us in the mountains. And like they had their own backpacks, and we were just training them. We never got to go out like fully missioning, but like these goats are pretty savage.
They're
and,
bred to be pack goats.
They're bred
Sick.
that way
so they
by
grow
Mark
like
Warnke.
larger than your average goat,
Yeah.
and they're like well suited.
Some
for
burly
backpack.
boys.
They were still pretty young, like they're
Yeah.
supposed to be maybe a couple years
Like
when they
maybe
really
2.
go out.
Like
missions.
Shoshone,
Right.
the female milker goat, was maybe like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
4 from Wyoming.
No, I think she was more like 3.
3,
Like,
yeah.
between 2,
Okay.
like now about probably 3.
How long does a goat live?
Full on Wyoming milker.
I'm thinking like 10 to 12, 15 years, something like that.
Like a cat.
Yeah. Or a dog.
Yeah.
And they're a lot more like affectionate than you would imagine. They can get pretty like burly and like raise up on you with their horns, but
Yeah.
like
And there's a move that has to be put
should we get,
on them.
should we get missing?
Especially like depending on what you're doing with
Is
goats.
this a
There's people-
thumb and a butt thing?
No, it's a no. It's a goat flip.
A goat flip.
Goat flip maneuver.
Yeah, if they're
Forrest
friends
has
on you,
acted
like-
on a couple goat flips and like
Yeah, like
Let's hear it.
if people raise goats for different reasons, they raise them for meat goats. That's a pretty rough one. Like there's milker goats.
Yeah, eat your
and
eat your
then-
pets.
Yeah, and then there's pack goats. That's what we were having. And,
There's also
and-
grazing goats.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
grazing.
Grazing.
Goats. Oh, yeah, to
Just
Yeah.
set them
yeah. And
off
there's
and
probably
like
other
clean up,
uses for goats. I'm
clean
not
up
even
poison oak
knowing
sections that
about.
you don't want to get after or something, or like
True.
maybe they are hungry.
Yeah.
or
Yeah, there's
something.
I seen like in Pebble Beach, like
Yeah, they
that
would
day,
send 'em out.
remember?
Yeah.
We were mission around Pebble Beach, like cutting through the woods, and there's these weird fence lines, like temp fence lines, I think maybe like
It was
on
just
some
below
shock
the
collar
Super
style
Snake
or something.
Run, yeah.
And they were like put in the places to like tear down
Yeah.
bunches of zones.
Yeah, it's
Pretty
Yeah, they
good.
unleash. They like rent the
Yeah.
goats. Like have them come out and do clearance.
One of our my mom and dad actually had goats when I was younger. They were really small goats, like pygmy goats, and my mom was like, they were like her pets, you know, like they were like the homie goats, Bumper and Boomer. But there's this hillbilly guy that we'll just name him Earl as well.
Yeah.
Fuck it. So Earl was at the house. It's like homie of my parents, and the goat was banging on the fence, and this is how he handled the goat, headbutting the fence,
Full
like
on.
challenging him. And the
Yeah.
hillbilly was not in the mood to be challenged by a little teeny goat that thought he was tough. And my mom looked away, and he grabbed it by the horns and lifted it up and told him like, "Hey, motherfucker, you better chill out."
Yeah, it's not a
Yeah.
smooth move.
I mean, it
Probably
seemed to
pissed the
work.
goat off, and that was another
Yeah.
thing that you kind of like learn is like raising goats is like you're not really supposed to touch their
Touch their horns
horns.
because
Whoa.
that gives them the idea that
Yeah,
they can
that-
touch you with their horns.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
oh, this
yeah.
is how we communicate with these
Yeah.
other like flesh sacks. So we're gonna fucking like headbutt them to
Yeah.
like show them
Yeah.
what's up. So
I think this one was pretty scary.
Yeah, no, if
like
you-
it was like more
Yeah.
of a household cat goat, you know, that
no,
lived
but I think
outside.
it's more the dudes move like straight, like
Yeah.
curling
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fucking horns.
Yeah.
That's- yeah, sketchy one.
Yeah,
But let's hear about
Yeah,
the,
so
let's hear
with
about
the
the
pack
goat
goats,
flip.
like
Let's hear about
Yeah.
the goat flip.
I
The
don't know
goat
how
flip.
the other like goats that are being raised, like how their people interact with them so much. But I know with the pack goats, like you're going to be out on the trail with them. They're going to be carrying your stuff, and you need to be. You're the alpha goat, like the one
I'm
homie.
glad
like,
you said that, yeah. The
we've
alpha
been watching
goat sleeps in the
videos.
tent.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, this dude, he's like,
like a
he's
sheriff
a pack goat
looking
dude,
dude.
out in Montana or Wyoming or
Yeah.
something, and he was interviewing with Mark Warnke, and he's talking about like if some shit's going down, all the goats are sleeping around, but they know they're alpha goats right over here in the tent.
Yeah.
And so basically, you gotta be the alpha goat and like
You got to
lay the
headbutt
smack
them.
down. And well, no, you goat flip them. If they start fronting on you and like raise up and try to drop horn or do some moves or flinch on you or whatever, and there's some you can give them a pass on certain moves, but if like if it's past like if they like intentionally
They're
and
getting
Marky
rowdy.
says like if they hit you with their horns, they intended to do that. Like
Yeah.
most of the time,
They
like
know where they're at.
and so you got to draw the line, like, and let it be known. And it's easier with a younger goat, but you basically like reach and grab their farther legs, and you give them a bit of a chest bump and a sweep of the legs, flip them upside down, and then you stand over them with your ankles like in their armpits, and you just let them know, like, and
Damn.
you just stay over them. And you tell them no, and they're all humiliated and like looking
Damn.
really, and they're down there in their shit and piss and like it's a rough time for them. And you just let them fucking no,
Yeah.
Shadow, fucking front and Shadow,
Dude,
no,
flashbacks right now.
No,
Shadow.
Going out, and you tell them, and then the thing is, you have to not let them up. Like they're struggling,
Yeah, you gotta let
but you
them up
have
on
to like
your
let
own
them up
accord.
when you want to.
Yeah.
Like. And let them know that when they're getting let up, it's because you decided to let them up.
Yeah.
But then you don't just let them up and run off. You let them up, and then you give them
Give them some
some
love.
love and
Yeah.
let them know, yo, I'm your homie. Like,
Yeah.
because they're
Don't make
thinking,
me goat flip you, Shadow.
yeah, it's good, bro. Like, chill. Like, take it easy. Don't do that again.
Yeah.
We're good. We're homies. Like, and so
You had to maneuver the goat flip
yeah.
on any full grounds.
And on Ragnar, I had to flip him a
Ragnar.
couple times.
Ragnar.
That was heavy duty.
Yeah, Ragnar
Like,
Bob is no joke.
Yeah.
Dude drops horn, it's fucking coming for you. So like,
Yeah.
you gotta be ready. And remember that we had some late night fucking maneuvers trying to like shut them down in their goat pen because
You had to save them, like,
save them
from the
from
bears or whatever.
and whatnot. Like,
Damn.
Ragnar was not into it. He was never down to like get caged up at the end of the night. So he'd be like running around, and this is the biggest goat. He was like,
He's
he
like,
He was as
He
far
is-
as the goats.
is the
he's
biggest
like
goat.
even
The
like one of
alpha
the largest, like
for-
out of
for
Warnke's
goats.
breeding of goats. He was one of the largest goats that Warnke'd even seen. Like,
Yeah,
Damn.
to, like estimating that he's gonna be like one of the largest. Like,
yeah.
and so he can be intimidating. Like,
How like tall does this goat stand?
taller than his back is taller than his tail.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
So
Big time.
when you're
Right.
reaching from the front to the back legs, like how is
No,
your
it's
face
like,
by horns?
You're
and-
grabbing the front and the back leg of the opposite side that you're on.
Oh, so you're grabbing from the side.
you're
Yeah,
sweep- yeah,
from the
you're
It's
side.
okay. I was
And you keep
picturing
them out.
you were
Sweeping
like
out the
grabbing
legs,
from the
yeah.
front and like full backward somersault onto the back.
You
More of
know,
like
you
a
hit from the
barrel
side,
roll, a
and
half
you
a
hit him
barrel
with,
roll.
Check it out on packgoats.com.
And
Yeah.
he shows you how to flip
He's
with
got like
Chester.
a
He's
legit,
got Chester. He's like flipping, and he's like, "Oh no, Chester doesn't even know why. Like
Yeah.
he's not doing anything wrong, but I
Yeah.
have to show you guys like how this is done. Like so. Anyway, I
So
I
that
flipped
he
some
was
smaller
just
goats, but there was a time when Ragnar like did some like offensive move, and I had to flip him. I was like, "Bro, are you gonna make me do this? All right."
Yeah.
And I went after him, but then I was in for more than I bargained for, and I was having a hard time like getting a good hold, and like I wasn't able to knock him over, and then he starts running around in circles, and we're on a slope.
so he kind of punked
like-
you.
Well, actually, he kind of let me, like, because with all his might and stuff, he totally could have gotten way wiggly and, like,
Yeah.
and messed me up,
Yeah.
like, but he kind of let me, like, I don't know, like, I felt like he kind of gave me, like, a bit of an opportunity to, like,
Yeah.
do what I had to do, and I was able, like, the first attempt, like, it wasn't happening, and I finally got him flipped, and, but then I'm on a sloped angle, it's ideal to have flat. I'm like
Yeah, I would
on the
imagine,
slope,
yeah.
and so I'm not even able to like get him. But I finally locked him in and just let him know. No, Ragnar. And he's their eyes go all googly. It's really weird, like standing over them and telling them what's up.
Yeah, not feeling it.
Yeah, goats are tight though.
Yeah.
Besides like having to flip them and stuff, another cool thing that I was just it just makes you want to have a goat in a mountain situation even more. Is like compared to a horse. Say you're like out on the trail with the horse and you're like walking your horse or whatever. Maybe the horse is like cruise around the camp. But if they get spooked, they'll like dip off back to the trailhead.
Yeah.
And
leave you out there in the lurch.
goat, if it gets spooked, it'll run to the alpha goat, and that's why you present yourself as the alpha goat.
Damn.
And you fucking alpha.
They're pack animals.
Yeah.
And they stick with
So
their folks.
they're with their folks.
Yeah.
Goat folks. Damn.
Yeah, they're pretty cool animals.
You guys might have to have a separate side podcast called Goat Folks.
Yeah,
Get some goat
goats
folks
are
out
way
at
cool.
Kashawa or something.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. And then there's the other weirdness about like disbudding. Disbudding is like when they take off their horns when they're young. And
There's different methods.
mainly
they,
because the goats don't harm the owners or like other animals, but like it's kind of a gnarly process. They burn.
There's a few different ways.
they
They
burn-
saw them off, but then
yeah.
also
Cauterize or
like a hot soldering
something.
knife
Yeah, it's like a
type thing to melt it off.
cauterizing kind of
Yeah.
thing. So it just
So it is a horn. It doesn't grow back.
If you do the disbudding process like
Properly.
incorrectly,
oh yeah.
it can grow this deformed like
Ooh, yeah.
unihorn thing, and it looks like just like a matted dread mop
Ugh,
thing. Like
gross.
Like, yeah, we've had this like How to Raise Goats book that. Where they're referencing the escutcheon and all the different parts.
Damn.
Yeah,
the
Scoochion's out
teat
there.
and, and all that shit. But
The milk vein. That was
Yeah.
a cool one. The goats, they have a milk vein running on. I mean, like they have something supplying the milk to the udder, but they just have like a main vein that's just supplying milk to the udder.
Whoa.
And you'd be surprised how fast the thing fills up. Like
yeah, you
overnight.
have to milk them twice a day.
Yeah, twice
or
a day.
Shawnee milk her twice a day, and like.
what
And
do
if
you
you
say?
skip,
like,
it's hard to stay on that schedule. Like, inevitably, there's days, like, where it gets the morning session or gets skipped. And, but by night, like, the udder's so swollen that, like, it's, for the beginning part, like, it's just...
Oh no! I don't want to hear you doing that with him doing this. Like, no,
it's just
no.
hard to make him, like, sneezing.
No,
type
it was
sound.
more of like the noises
Jesus,
she would make.
Shaq was feeling it while you were fucking. Oh, that's a Cooperman's dislike right there. Oh
I mean, it's
fuck!
I was like
Something's-
representing her feelings
Yeah.
at the end of the night when she got skipped on her milking
True.
earlier in the day. She'd let you know. Like,
True.
That was before you even come around to milk. It's
Yeah.
more
Oh,
like,
geez.
when you, like, it's not when you get her
She's
up
like
and it's
out there, like
She's
come-
taller, and she would, like...
So they don't have a way to
Release, no.
release. It's,
They
would just die of milk.
I don't know if,
fucking-
like... I don't know.
Like
maybe I would think that there's like a float valve.
a
in
super
there, you know?
release, yeah.
Like
just
a float, like a float valve that
starts leaking out their sides once
No,
it gets
but
to a certain part.
I'm sure it just keeps producing, but I don't know.
They
You would think
produce
that
after
it kind of slows
they've given
down.
birth,
Yeah.
but if you don't milk them daily, they eventually they don't produce as much. That's why we
Yeah.
had to milk daily, was so that
So that's
they could keep
probably
producing.
what would happen.
Yeah.
Is the goat would just kind of stop producing milk and it would like stop packing up the.
Shoni is such a sweet goat. She's
And have you
really
got-
nice. Like you'd be like milking her, and maybe she like struggle and like kick the milk bucket would get all the way tipped over, and be like, first instinct, I pissed Shoni, what the hell? But then you look at her and she looks back. She's in this thing where like it's like a stand, like what do they call it? I forget.
I've seen
like,
those down
like-
walking by the
you
fairgrounds.
kind of like lock them in, and then you put the grain,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
they're
it's a
kind of
headlock,
like locked
yeah.
in. And she knocked the milk bucket over, and like try to scold her, but then you look up and she look back at you and with such a sweet eyes, like just this look, and it's hard, like instantly hard
Yeah.
to be mad at her. You're just like, all right, Tony. Like,
Yeah.
So let's just cut to brass tacks here. Have either of you guys ever cut out the middleman and just gone straight? I mean, maybe with a little gap. It's not like
Went
mouth,
straight milk to
not
the
mouth, not mouth to udder, but like maybe a little air gap in
Yeah.
between. A direct spray goat milk in the mouth.
I used to hit I had a
Spray
coffee.
it.
I would make my coffee and then come up to
That's-
the top of the mountain and squirt some goat
That's
milk
not
in it.
cutting out the middleman. I'm talking at least a waterfall.
No, I've done that. Yeah. You have to if you're milking.
Woo!
But no, if you like hit the coffee with enough force, it actually foams up the milk. So you got like a goat milk
When we
latte.
were out
A
backpacking,
goat milk latte.
No,
Rough.
it's pretty tight.
Damn.
Like I swear, it's actually
Yeah.
way more bomb than you'd like expect. Like once you figure out and are a little more accustomed to the taste of goat milk, then it's presented in a way that's like available for the taking. You know, you're just ready to hit it, and like maybe straight out of the bucket, sharing it with Bagheera.
I got to that point.
Yeah,
Like it took a while for like when I first was tasked with milking the goat. Like I was not like really.
yeah. You got to do
I
like a
didn't-
full move of shake it all out because there's like milk sacks.
So you're
And,
like,
like-
massage the udder?
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Dude, I think the direct
All the
to
way
the
up to the
mouth is why
escutcheon.
you could feel the goat emotion so much, Jack. Like, I felt it when you goated out over there a minute ago. I like felt the emotion of the goat on the mountain, like wanting to be milked.
Yeah.
Well, we bottle fed a couple goats, Soldier
Yeah.
and Beergate, and for at the 5 days old, we really should have started at 2 days because they had been drinking off of Shoney's teat, like, and got used to that. And so, but the idea for bottle feeding them is that they develop a bond with you as a human, and it's like better for like raising a pack goat. They like have a different connection with you.
Yeah, that
And
makes
so,
sense.
but it's kind of rough, like, to take them from the mom where they could just drink directly off her. You
Yeah.
like move them
And then-
separately, collect the milk, put it in a
Whoa.
bottle with this rubber nipple, and then because we didn't start it like 2 days, this was a little bit before Jack got there, maybe like a month and a half before he showed up. I was up there like learning to bottle feed them, and I was having such a hard time. Like
I remember
getting them
talking to you on the phone
I
around
had
that
to,
time.
Like we got assistance from Warnke on a phone call and told him what was up. And he's like, "Oh, usually I start at 2 days. It's been 5. It's gonna be hard. They're gonna struggle. They're gonna resist. Like it's gonna get their face all wet and they're gonna be screaming and all this stuff. But you gotta just. I've never had a goat that's like gonna starve himself to death. They will drink." And he said like you kind of just like come up behind them and like lock them between your knees and then grab their mouth and like pry it open with your thumb and your finger, get it to open, put the milk bottle in, and you start squirting the milk down their throat. And they're making horrible sounds.
Oh no!
Flashing, and it's just like to keep them alive. You just like. And Birgit, the little girl goat, she after like a few days
Powers
of
is
this,
far removed from
she,
this.
Yeah.
she took to the
Trying to
process.
be.
She started drinking on her own.
Traumatized.
But then Soldier, it took him a long time
Who's
after
fighting
to
the,
start like.
fighting the
and
urge.
it was
You're not
the-
my mom.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible. Like to, but then it was such a relief when they finally just started drinking from the bottom themselves. You could just take the bottle up, give
Hold
it to
it
them,
and
and they just drink on it.
So, have you guys milked anything else?
Well,
I never
just-
milked another.
I mean, they were milking the dogs.
The kids. There were some kids in the neighborhood that
Yeah.
that when like one of the
I wasn't
dogs had a
milking the
litter,
dog. Yeah.
like they tried a little
They tried
a dog
the
milk.
dog milk.
They
Yeah.
drank it?
They squirted some on their finger and like
Oh,
they were
Damn.
curious, you know, because
thank God this is an after-hours show. This is rough. Dog milk. Squirt a little of that in
But
your
when it
coffee.
comes to like animal and pet ownership, you develop a strong bond with
with-
these animals, and like,
Especially if you're milking it.
yeah, exactly.
That's what I was asking. Like,
in
I
a
mean,
real way, like you do, like it.
Thank-
if
thank
milking
God.
was a milkable, like
I wouldn't do it. Hell no. Hell no. I'm not milking a basset hound, bro. You got me fucked up. I would have known about that before and never got her.
no,
I'm
but-
just saying it's probably good that you guys don't have any
Yeah.
strong bonds with roosters.
I mean, there was strong bonds with roosters, but
Milking the
no,
cock is
no,
it's a whole nother ball game.
No, you're not milking the rooster. You're not milking the rooster. You're like kicking it with the
Yeah.
rooster. The rooster's the homie.
Waking
He's
you
like,
up in the morning.
Yeah,
trying to
cock-a-doodle doing you in the morning and
Just
like
chasing the cock.
snatching legs to try to like scoop him up and stuff. So
Yeah.
roosters
Damn.
are pretty ruthless though.
Yeah.
They can really fuck with other like shit. It's kind of like some of them. There's a one rooster is kind of a dick to the old guy because there's this one really old rooster and then a younger rooster, and the older rooster was just kind of like trying to chill and live out the rest of his life all happy. He had like elephantitis foot, like all trippy, like massive claw.
Did the other
and
one
the
mark
other
him?
rooster was just like not letting him get any grub and like totally taking all the hens from him.
We had
And,
a
and
situation
picking on
like
him
that
and,
in the valley too.
And sometimes the old guy would be stuck in the corner and just all sad,
With his head down
in the bottom corner of the cage and like not down to like to have any social interactions with other roosters. So
Yeah.
it was a hard life for him, but he died peacefully, and Forrest was able to give him a happy place to.
I buried him out by
live,
the point by the wood-fired hot tub.
Nice.
Beautiful view. Had a little.
Well, it's your guy's
Like,
pet. You should have just
Yeah.
ate him.
There was thoughts of like
there was
getting,
talk about that.
Oh no!
but then
little goat milk marinade.
yeah, but it was an old rooster, and
It didn't really look.
It wasn't
grubbable.
the right
Nah, yeah, you don't
wasn't
really
the
want
right
to grub the
situation.
rooster. I don't think too much.
Yeah,
But big shout out Barter Mountain Ranch, where all this was happening.
yeah.
Up Friday Ridge, Route 6. Power's been up there. He
It
actually
was
came and swooped me up.
beautiful. It was a beautiful spot, definitely.
And actually, you maybe caught a glance of the goats. In the
Yeah,
film
I
right
saw the
there.
goats.
Yeah,
I saw the goats.
yeah,
Missy was interested.
yeah.
Like Missy's interested in other animals until they get too close to her.
There were some other creatures up there. There's bears. We saw a bit of bear activity on Route 6 driving.
Oh yeah.
They were like getting after some trash that people had just like thrown on the side of the road.
Yeah,
And
recycling.
yeah, a few bear encounters. And
You know what our friend James was telling me was that they actually brought some of those bears from, I think it was Yosemite, like back in like the day. They brought like, it was just like getting too
troublesome bears that were like
Yeah, it was getting
causing a scene. They
exactly. It was
getting
getting
after the
too
trash.
rough over there with the amount of bears. So I guess they just snatched them up and like transplanted them out into
the
like
Humboldt
into the
wilderness.
Humboldt zone. And
So they don't
those
cruise
bears-
back to where
No.
they're
Well,
from.
that's a
far
distance for
stretch,
sure.
but they
Yeah.
they like get
they had
um,
the same techniques of like rummaging for food.
and they
Yeah.
were
And they
teaching
passed
their
it
offspring.
down to their
Whoa.
offspring.
And
Yeah.
trash bears. And so these in the
Damn.
neighborhood up Forest View or whatever that road was that Delaney's living, there like the trash would get rummaged through by bears
Damn.
who were taught like they're from
Yeah.
like Yosemite bears.
But it was interesting to
like-
me that they would just transplant a bunch of bears up in this new zone just because there was like too many in this area. It's just like back to how humans like to manipulate environments and like tailor it to.
I think they do that with mountain lions sometimes too, huh? Like
I
sometimes
guess
they kill them, but also sometimes they relocate them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it can
It's
go
kind of
into
it's kind
it
of a
can go
weird
into all
situation for
kinds
me.
of territories. Oh, bears being eating trash and manipulating environments. You guys are over here not letting a baby goat drink from its mom, so you can middleman the bottle to make it
Yeah.
think you're the mom. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
you guys are goat
We're humans
scientists.
manipulating
Yeah,
environments. so
exactly. Yeah.
I didn't count us out of that, but
Yeah.
like, it is what it is.
Yeah, if I saw a goat walking down the street, I'm walking away from that thing, man. Straight up, like it'd be weird around here, you know.
Yeah.
10th Street goats. They're definitely
Probably
trash
do.
goats.
Trash goats. Interesting.
Maybe trash pig.
Trash pigs.
Pigs
trash
seem
bears.
more
Hmm.
like they would go after trash. I don't think goats eat trash as much as.
Oh yeah, and I was trying to catch a clip of this, but those two baby goats that we were kicking it with, Beergate and Soldier actually dropped in on a dirt board.
Whoa.
And
Yeah.
didn't catch it on film, but caught it on with my freaking visuals, and
Damn.
it was pretty epic. Set up the board for her up on this like piece of plywood, and had like a little bit of a block behind it, so as soon as she stepped on it, she'd just go for it. And I let her like get familiar with
Well,
the board.
first we like for a
and-
while the
yeah,
we
she
put
was
the board
living
in
with
the
the
pen.
board.
Like
They were
at a certain
living with
point,
it.
we introduced
Yeah.
the dirt board to
Yeah.
them to their environment, so they could like be familiar with it, and it was around like on the ground in there for some weeks, maybe couple weeks. And one day Jack, he came and got me down in the garden, and he's like, "You gotta see this."
The goats, they were just standing on it. They were like, all right, what's the next move on this?
And we had a piece of plywood like leaned up on
Damn.
some hay bales, like to create like an atmosphere for them to play and run and slide around on, just like. But then Jack had the idea to put the board up there at the top, and because they were already used to standing on the board, and he put it up there at the top, and then they were running up to the top
and jumping on it
and getting on it. But it was like the wheels were like the back wheels were hooked, like up, like as if on the coping.
A little rock to fakie.
Yeah.
So she's standing like ready to drop in, and so we prepared it like by wedging some bark and some stuff underneath to like raise the wheels so it's more inclined to like if she stands on it and rocks around a little bit at a certain point, it's gonna drop in. And they're agile, they got moves like and
it's not like we're setting them up for failure on that. They were like ready for this, like,
and so eventually Soldier, like we weren't sure who was gonna do it first, and Soldier got up on there and he did a full drop in, 3 legs on the board, 1 leg trailing, and rode down the plywood piece of 4x8 like plywood.
It's pretty epic.
Yeah, maybe one of the first scouts in history to.
I'd say the first.
In,
around dirt board territories, it's got to be the first.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. I've seen some Instagram clips of a chicken on a skateboard. It's borderline animal abuse on the chicken. Like it's like launch ramps and stuff, and the chicken's not like down. Birds on tech decks. Little birds on tech decks. Seen that one too.
Parakeet.
Pretty tight. Yeah. Or what are those little guys?
Yeah, I think it's a little parakeet. They like talk a lot. Say a lot of stuff. Kind of like we are right now.
Yeah.
Well, a whole bunch of random
What do you guys think? We should wrap this one up for the night?
Put the shrink wrap on the test print.
Yeah.
It was a good one.
Yeah, I had a good time.
Good
time chatting it up.
In on this action here at the shop.
Yeah.
Many things that the shop has to offer here in Monterey. So
yeah.
And one of them is the podcast. So.
Big shout out to Niall for dreaming up and developing such a beautiful place for us to make our art.
Hell yeah, now.
Hell yeah, now.
Now.
Gang, gang.
Awesome what's done here.
Sick. Well, we're going to call it Mr. Cooperman signing off.